It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast, and PFL Week 1 is here. PFL Week 2 is right around the corner, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Friday, April 12th. Former champion back, and I'm so excited to talk to him. I would wait forever to talk to him. The one and only Antonio Carlos Jr. Sir, welcome and welcome back. Welcome back to competition.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. It's really good to be back. I was looking forward to that. It takes so long, I couldn't wait for this, man. It's really, really good to be back.
So obviously there's a lot to talk about with, the fight and everything, but the biggest thing for me is during your time away, what were the biggest things you learned about yourself as a man and as a fighter while you weren't actively competing?
Yeah, man. To be honest, like when you get an injury, like the surgeries and stuff, the injury is a nightmare for every athlete. It's pretty hard time. You gotta like go step by step from the beginning. Recovering, feeling like your confidence back. It's always pretty hard for us because I want to be like competing. I want to, fight, be the champion. See another guys getting my belt was like, oh man, could be mine, should be mine. You know what I mean? I couldn't be able to be there to be fighting, not even fighting for this. It's not that I lost the for somebody. It's that I couldn't fight due some injury, but it is what it is. It's part of the job. This always happen for us, but we always learn some stuff during this period, and this happened to me, that happened to me, get more mature and develop another stuff in my life.
And that's beautiful. That's perfect, right? Because instead of feeling, and that leads to my next question, instead of feeling sorry for yourself or giving up on yourself, to find those other outlets, to find those things within yourself, it's beautiful. And I commend you on that. The big thing for me is if you can kind of talk about what kept you going, right? Because fans, those who may listen to this, haters, all of that, right? Who may hear this interview, they look at MMA fighters as gladiators. They still want you guys to come out with the head of your opponent, taking off the body, point to the crowd like you're in Rome. But there's something beautiful about a fighter going through the ups and downs of the sport, of the injuries, of the losses, of heartbreak and triumph. And you've kind of gone through both. So can you speak about why that is important as a fighter to overcome that? Because sometimes, not just physically, but mentally, an injury could be worse than a loss.
Yes, it's true, man. As I said at the beginning, like I feel really sad. I feel really like at the beginning, I actually feel sorry for myself. I said, man, I was so really sad for that, because I want to be fighting. I want to be fighting for the belt. I was feeling so confident, but that will happen to everybody. I know people think we gladiators, that we just strong. We don't care about nothing, just go there, you see blood in your face and stuff, but no, we just a normal person, with like feelings, normal life, friends, family. Sometimes you wake up a little sad, uh and you have to keep going, like the good times and the bad times is part of our life, our normal life, and you have to deal with that. You need to learn how to deal with the bad days, and enjoy the good days. This is very important.
That's beautifully said. Now, the other part of this is something that you're not doing, but other fighters could have done. You've already won the belt. You've already been there, done that. You fought in these big promotions. You were the champion. And like you said, you never lost the belt. But after an injury, after being out, your last fight was in 2022. So over a year, what made you decide, I got to get back in here? I got to compete.
Man, I was always thinking about that. I never like thought about retirement. I still young. I just made 34. Oh man, 34. Wow. But I still got a lot to do in this sport. I love doing this, man, to be honest. All the time that I was far from the gym, from the competition, from the cage, I was feeling, man, I want to get there again. I want to get there again. I see the guys fighting, and all uh, that I want to do is like be inside the cage, fighting, competing. This. Uh, uh, I'm still hungry for that. I still got a lot to do. I still that is so much to do. I can think about other stuff now.
So what more do you have to do? I think that's the question, right? Because you've been there, done that. What more is it that you want to do in your career?
I want to get another belt and another belt. Always breaking records. That's the goal. That's like what like every good athlete wants to do. Always trying to get better, always improving, always trying to do more than you did, and that's what I want to do. I have one belt, I want another one. I got 2021. I couldn't be able to fight 22 and 23, but 24, I'm here, and I want to get this belt. And the next year is going to be the same. So that's the thing, always trying to improve, develop, and be a better fight, better person, and always going up.
I love it. I love the mindset. Now, I think another part of this too, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is the addition of Bellator fighters coming into the PFL season,
Yeah.
new competition, new names. Does that excite you?
Man, yeah, truly excited, because there's a lot of great guys that I know, that I saw the fights, there is a how many guys? There is a Phil Davis is the most like popular guy. I think he was a Bellator champion, very tough guy. He fought for UFC as I did. Uh, Wilson was already the PFL, but Simon Biong, very tough guy too. He's really big. He's 6'5". Man, the guy's huge, and very athletic. There's a lot of great guys. Some guys I don't know, but the competition is gonna be good this year, man.
It's going to be very good. Now, overall, as someone who has spent a lot of time with the PFL, what do you make of them now as either the 1A or 1B in MMA, alongside the UFC, the other promotion that we don't like to talk about. But what do you make of the PFL and what they're doing? They just moved Bellator over to HBO Max here in the States, which is huge. They're on ESPN Plus and ESPN for PFL, which is obviously huge. So much eyes, so much attention. They buy out Bellator. They bring over a whole new roster. Where do you feel PFL is?
Man, it's growing. They brought a lot of great names. You see Francis Ngannou, who is gonna fight in the PFL too. He just fought with like great guys in boxing. Was a great fight against Tyson Fury. The last one uh wasn't like wasn't the way we want, because we want somebody like representing the MMA people. Unfortunately, what wasn't the result we won in the last on his last fight. But I think PFL is growing so much, man. This thing with Bellator, uh, make the PFL even bigger. I don't know how gonna work now, actually. But I think it's gonna be good for us because, let's say you're not you out of the season, you can fight for in some Bellator event or whatever. I think PFL is growing, man. It's growing, and they hungry to be bigger.
They definitely are, and having fighters like yourself on there only helps them. You mentioned your opponent, Simon Biong. What should we expect from you? I think he knows where this fight is planning to go to the ground, given all your success in the grappling world. But what should we expect in this fight?
Man, I saw some of his fights. I try to see his best movements and stuff. I want to mix it up, everything. You can be unidimensional. You gotta like mix it up, making him think I'm gonna shoot and throw some punch and shoot. Like be a complete fighter. You gotta go. You need to go in every area of this sport. Like boxing, kicking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So when you mix it up, it's hard for the guy to read your game, and that's what I want to do.
One
He's
big thing.
definitely yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
he's definitely some athletic guy. He's very long. The reach is not too different. He's 80, I'm 79. But probably he's gonna try to keep the distance. And I saw he like to work in the case too. Let's see what gonna present.
One thing I was kind of excited to talk to you about too is when you're looking at how you're coming back, the tournament style that PFL offers, that allows you the opportunity to just come in, focus on the fight, then get ready for the next fight, then get ready for the next fight. It's not, all right, I was out for a year, I got one fight, maybe I got to wait another 6 months, 8 months. Do you feel like the season tournament, as long as everything goes your way, is the best way for you to come back because you're going to make up for lost time?
Man, I love it. I love this how it works, because sometimes I like you fight, you stay out for too long, then you get another fight, you know, and I was always good in the tournaments, like if you see the jiu-jitsu, like we get like 8 fights a day, maybe. You saw the PFL. I was always good because you keep the rhythm. You always fighting. You always like, you kind of like feel comfortable inside the cage because you're always there. It's not something that, oh man, this is kind of weird. I don't, so I really like it. These type of the way they work. You know.
Absolutely. And I won't keep you for too much longer. And I appreciate you giving me your time today. When we look at just where you've been at in your career and everything that you've done, yeah, I'm not ignorant to one part of martial arts over the other, but I do think there's something so beautiful besides the physicality of jiu-jitsu in every fighter I talk to who has a good background or a very respected background in jiu-jitsu, I should say, like yourself and others who I've had on the show, they just talk different. They just think different. What would you say you have learned the most as a standout grappler and competing in jiu-jitsu has helped you as a fighter and as a person?
Yeah. Like in MMA, the difference from jiu-jitsu is you know who you're going to fight, so you kind of get ready for that guy, But in jiu-jitsu, you don't know, man. You got like 8 or 10 fights. I used to fight like my division in the open class. You know the good guys, but you don't know like who's gonna be your next opponent, and you gotta beat the guy anyway. Because if you don't beat that guy, you're not gonna go for the quarterfinals, to the semifinals, to the finals, whatever. So you need to be ready. Doesn't matter who's gonna be your opponent. You know what I mean?
What would your message be to those who fans of yours or followed your career or follow your story, those who will tune into the PFL next week and they'll see you haven't competed since 2022? What's your message? This is my favorite thing because I love talking to fighters who have more to prove, rather than just be like, oh, it's just another fight. Because like we talked about in the beginning, you could have walked away. You could have gave up. You could have felt sorry for yourself. What is your message to those who may see your story and go, well, maybe he can motivate me, or maybe if there's something he says, it can motivate me to get off the couch and not give up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's just like always trying to fight something that worth to fight, And in my case, was like definitely fighting. You know what I mean? I love to do that. I feel I'm a fighter in life, because uh, you always gonna have problems in your life. You're always gonna have some obstacles in the way, but you need to keep going. You can't like just give up. And when you love something, when you love what you do, it's completely different. Try to find this thing that makes you hungry, that you know makes you want to wake up and do whatever.
Absolutely. That's beautifully said. Last question here for me. What should fans expect on April 12th in Las Vegas when you return? The champ is back.
The champ is back. Yeah, man. Wait for my best. I'm looking forward to that, man. I was really, really, really hungry. I was really like looking forward to this moment. I couldn't wait get back in the gym. Once I get back in the gym, I said, man, I want to get back in the cage. You know, I want to do my best, and that's what they can expect. You know, for sure, I'm gonna give my 100%, and I want to get like this W next Friday.
Next Friday in Las Vegas. It goes down April 12th, PFL Week 2 regular season. Antonio Carlos Jr., thank you so much for the time. Very happy to have the chance to talk to you. I'm
Thank you so
super
much.
excited for you to come back, and I can't wait to see what you do in your return. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. See you.
Absolutely.